But speeding tickets, silliness, Dillon Gabriel's a much more kind of centered, serious kid, and Shedeur is third. I got to trust Stefanski.
Yes.
And will he kind of be the backup?
Joe will start the game. Dillon will play second. Shedeur will play third.
He won 11 games. He knows more than I do. I know. You are absolutely sure you could be president. You would do a better job. It's the world we live in. Everybody's an expert.
Play. Whenever it's time for the lights to come on, I'm going to do my thing. I'm not concerned about when it is. I'm not concerned about, how many reps I'm getting at this point is what it is. Because I know when the lights come on, when everything go on, when the pressure's on, you know who I am. And I'm always be that way.
Another twist in the tale. Just when everyone thought Shedeur Sanders had locked up the second-string spot after his explosive preseason performance, Kevin Stefanski has dropped a bombshell. He's not even considering Shedeur to play ahead of Dillon Gabriel in the final preseason game. And if that wasn't enough to frustrate Browns fans, here comes Colin Cowherd, wasting no time in pouring salt on the wounds of those who desperately want to see Shedeur succeed. This isn't just about roster decisions anymore. It's about whether the Browns are even willing to give their young quarterback a fair shot.
Kevin Stefanski's a smart guy. He's one of the 2 Ivy League coaches in the league. He's a pretty smart guy. He won 11 games with that nonsense in 2023. He's got Dillon Gabriel 2 and Shedeur 3.
Colin Cowherd came out and declared that Stefanski actually made the right call this time. According to him, putting Dillon Gabriel as the second string and sliding Shedeur Sanders down to third is the smarter move. And let's be real, when you're talking about Kevin Stefanski, you're talking about one of the best coaches in the NFL. Love it or hate it, the man knows what he's doing. And Cowherd believes this decision just proves how sharp he really is. But Colin Cowherd didn't stop there. He took it a step further and outright mocked Shedeur and his supporters. He pointed out that at least 7 NFL teams were searching for a starter and around 15 needed a solid backup, yet every single one of them passed on Shedeur Sanders. He reminded everyone that Shedeur was taken in the 5th round, while Dillon Gabriel went in the 3rd. To Cowherd, that was the league's loud and clear message. Shedeur is a 5th-round quarterback. His fans may have ignored it at first, but now, as Cowherd puts it, they have no choice but to face the reality.
And many of us believe Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, is the one that nudged the front office into drafting him. So the Browns drafted Dillon Gabriel 2 rounds before. So you can run to your Reddit board and dogpound.com and say it's a conspiracy, but the whole league told you he's a 5th-round quarterback. And the Browns are telling you, Kevin Stefanski, who won 11 games in 2023 with nonsense in a division with the Ravens, in the AFC, he's like his 3rd-string quarterback.
Colin Cowherd, who not long ago was hyping Shedeur as the potential starting quarterback for the Browns, has now flipped the script. He's saying Shedeur never deserved all the attention he's been getting from fans in the first place. Cowherd doubled down, claiming the 5th-round draft slot was exactly where Shedeur belonged. He argued that every NFL team that passed on him had insights and information the fans simply didn't. But honestly, this feels like classic Colin, switching sides and slipping back into that backbiting persona he's known for. Previously, Colin Cowherd weighed in, and his take has definitely turned heads. After watching Gabriel's debut, Cowherd declared that if this is going to be the offense moving forward, the team is in trouble. It's not just about the interceptions or the plays. Cowherd believes Gabriel's size could become a significant issue for him in the long run. He then turned his attention to Shedeur Sanders, making a bold statement that after seeing both quarterbacks' starts side by side, he would go with Sanders. Cowherd even went as far as to say that Sanders was underdrafted. High praise, especially considering the competition in the NFL right now.
So the truth is about these guys, I have 2 strong opinions. I think Dillon Gabriel's size is an issue. I would have a hard time building around him. He's small. I think he moves well. I would choose Shedeur over Dillon Gabriel.
And now that same guy has completely turned his back on Shedeur, suddenly praising Stefanski for putting him at the third spot behind Dylan Gabriel. But here's where it gets bizarre. He drags in Shedeur's speeding ticket, as if that has anything to do with his performance on the field. Like seriously, what does a traffic violation have to do with quarterback play? Just listen to what he's saying.
But speeding tickets, silliness, Dylan Gabriel's a much more kind of centered, serious kid, and Shedeur is third. I got to trust Stefanski.
Now Cowherd is even going as far as labeling Shedeur a spoiled child. But the truth is, Shedeur Sanders isn't letting any of that noise get to him. He's not stressing over the role he's been given or the outside chatter. His focus is locked on one thing. When the lights are at their brightest, he's going to shine even brighter. Shedeur himself has made it clear he's not wasting energy on the criticism or distractions. When he finally steps on that field, he plans to let his game do all the talking. Shedeur has made it crystal clear he's not concerned about the number of reps he's getting in practice or any of the noise surrounding him. His confidence comes from knowing that when the real pressure hits, that's when he'll prove everyone wrong. He said he knows exactly who he is as a player, and when it's time to respond, he'll do it the only place that matters, on the field.
Play. Whenever it's time for the lights to come on, I'm going to do my thing. I'm not concerned about when it is. I'm not concerned about, how many reps I'm getting at this point is what it is. Because I know when the lights come on, when everything go on, when the pressure's on, you know who I am. And I'm always be that way.
Colin Cowherd didn't even bother to acknowledge any of this. Instead, he kept taking shots at the fans, saying he'd love to hear the barking of Shedeur supporters over on dogpound.com. To him, it's like some kind of game to mock the people who believe in Shedeur. But the truth is, we all know Shedeur is a solid guy with the mindset to bounce back. And when he does, those same fans Cowherd is ridiculing will be right there backing him up, just like they always have, and just like Cowherd himself once did. At that point, Colin Cowherd took it even further, claiming there's a massive gap between Shedeur Sanders and the other quarterbacks in Cleveland. In his eyes, Shedeur has consistently displayed sharpness, confidence, and real command, while the others have looked slow, flat, and uninspired. Cowherd stressed that this isn't some small difference. It's a defining gap that could ultimately shape the Browns' entire quarterback decision. To him, the contrast in preparation, performance, and presence is so glaring that sooner or later, the Browns won't be able to ignore it.
So how he is viewed by the NFL and the professionals there, who I respect and trust, and how he's viewed by everybody else, it's an incredible gap.
And let's be real, once Shedeur finally gets a legitimate shot on the field, Colin Cowherd will backtrack yet again. The moment Shedeur shows what he's truly capable of, all those harsh words will come right back to haunt him. Shedeur's performance will leave Cowherd with no choice but to eat his words. Colin Cowherd's take on Shedeur Sanders is the perfect example of a color-changing journalist narrative, praising him one week, tearing him down the next, and then inevitably setting himself up to flip again when the story changes. This back-and-forth style isn't new. It's how Cowherd keeps himself relevant in every conversation, always shifting with the tide instead of standing firm on one perspective. First, he was pushing Shedeur as a starting quarterback. Then he mocked him as overrated. And later, he claimed there's a massive gap between him and his competition. It's this inconsistency that leaves fans shaking their heads, knowing that sooner or later, Cowherd will pivot again the moment Shedeur shines under the lights. But here's what matters most. Shedeur Sanders isn't worried about the noise. He's not fazed by Cowherd's hot takes or the doubts of critics. His focus is razor sharp, and his mindset is clear. When the pressure is at its peak, he will deliver. The kid believes in himself, and that belief will translate on the field. In time, Shedeur will silence all the doubters, including Cowherd, and prove that he was always more than just a headline in a journalist's shifting storyline. What do you think about all this? Do you agree with Colin Cowherd constantly flipping his stance on Shedeur Sanders? Or do you feel like he's just stirring the pot for attention? Do you believe Shedeur deserves more respect and a fair shot to prove himself on the field? And when that opportunity finally comes, will he shut down all the critics once and for all? Share your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. And if you've made it this far, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Because when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, your voice truly matters.